The industry of video games today is one that is absolutely filled with variety. From captivating stories to addicting multiplayers and everything in between, there is literally a game out there for everyone. And with that being said, hi, my name is Zeppelin and today I'm going to be counting down my top 10 favourite video games of all time. One thing to keep in mind with this list is that it is one that is heavily personal. This could be for reasons such as nostalgia, or simply just because of the amount of fun I had in a particular title with friends or by myself. What I'm saying is this list will not be me telling you what are the objectively best video games of all time. It'll just be telling you about the games I had the most fun playing. Also, before we begin, it is worth noting that in this list I am only going to be doing one video game per series. However, if I feel that a game is deserving of a mention at least, or came in close second in a series, it will get an honourable mention. I hope you enjoy. Please make sure to like and subscribe, and without further ado, let's begin with number 10. Number 10. Grand Theft Auto 5. Some hardcore Grand Theft Auto fans may take issue with me putting Grand Theft Auto 5 as the one that's on my top 10 list, but I do feel like I have good reason for it. Grand Theft Auto 5 is a game that has been out for nearly a decade now, and yet so many players are still getting a lot of enjoyment out of it. Immerse yourself in the world of Los Santos, taking control of your three main characters as you go through the story. Once you're done with the story, you can hop over to Grand Theft Auto Online, where you can literally find years and years worth of content to enjoy, as since the game has been out nearly a decade, the developers put a lot of time and effort to fleshing out the online throughout the years, making it a worthwhile experience for any Grand Theft Auto player. While the replay value of most Grand Theft Auto games ends with the completion of the campaign, the replay value in Grand Theft Auto 5 because of the online is near endless. Ultimately, the longevity of this game is why I believe Grand Theft Auto 5 deserves a place on this list. Number 9. Tomb Raider Legend. Tomb Raider Legend being number 9 on this list may be a choice that surprises a lot of people. However, I do think this game has a lot to offer that is quite overlooked by the Tomb Raider fanbase as a whole. While this game has aged poorly, I still think it is a game worth playing today simply to experience the narrative and the new direction Tomb Raider decided to take at the time. While the new Tomb Raider games have eclipsed Tomb Raider Legend in terms of gameplay, it is worth noting what Tomb Raider Legend meant for the franchise at the time it came out. The Tomb Raider franchise was one that was beginning to look dead in the water, with Angel of Darkness on the PS2 being one of the most underwhelming games to come out on the console. It looked like the franchise was all but finished. When Tomb Raider Legend came along, it marked the beginning of a new trilogy of Tomb Raider games with a fully fleshed out story, new and interesting gameplay mechanics, and quite interesting level designs that I actually still find fun to go back to today, despite the fact that the game has aged rather poorly. This is the one I definitely got the most enjoyment out of as a kid, and what I would say to the viewer is that if you are a Tomb Raider fan, do not overlook this game if you're looking for ones to play. It is, in my opinion, the best of the trilogy that came out, with Anniversary and Underworld coming out a few years afterwards, and I highly recommend you give it a chance. Number 8. Everybody's Gone to the Rapture. Many people may look at Everybody's Gone to the Rapture and simply see a walking simulator that they would get bored of rather quickly. However, when I look at games like this in its format, and especially this game itself, I see the ability to tell a really captivating and heartfelt story. Everybody's Gone to the Rapture is a game that I have only played once and do not intend to replay anytime soon, but that is simply because I got so much enjoyment and closure out of the game on initial playthrough. I sat down with my cousin to play this game expecting to have a fun but slightly interesting experience. However, what we got from this game was a deeply interesting tale, one that actually left me quite sad in the end up, and I believe it is paced and told brilliantly. If you are the type of player that can forgive the lack of gameplay and think you can enjoy an interesting narrative told with excellent pacing, all accompanied by fantastic music, then I highly recommend you give this game a go, as it is a story you will simply never forget. Number 7. Sly 2 Band of Thieves, with an honourable mention to the whole series. Oh my god, where would I be without the Sly Cooper series? The Sly Cooper series was life-defining for me, and honestly still my all-time favourite series of video games from when I grew up. But if I had to pick a favourite one, it would have to be the sequel to the original, Sly 2 Band of Thieves. Sly 2 Band of Thieves expands on everything that the first game did, opening up the world, fleshing out the characters, and giving us new and interesting characters and stories that are just simply so much fun to enjoy as a kid, and gameplay that even still as an adult is so much fun to replay through. As a matter of fact, I'm currently replaying these games on my Twitch, so if you enjoy watching people's Twitch streams, then I highly recommend you go check mine out. If you believe you are someone who is a little too old to enjoy a game like this now, I highly recommend you give this game to one of your kids, and I guarantee they will enjoy this game. Number 6. Beyond Two Souls. Okay, so I know this is a controversial one, but please hear me out. Beyond Two Souls is a game that does have its issues. It's definitely one of the weaker outings from the Quantic Dream studio, and the story at times does tend to get quite silly. However, when this game came out, it really just struck something personal with me that hasn't gone since. If anything, you should play this game simply for the immaculate performances that are given from Elliot Page and Willem Dafoe, who at times absolutely carry the narrative through its weaker moments. The game really done a good job, for me at least, at investing me in the story of our main characters. It is a narrative that I could tell came from a deeply personal place, and it did, as the game was written by David Cage, who wrote it about subject matter that I will not mention here, but it is very interesting if you decide to go looking for it. I believe a lot of people are too quick to hate on the game Beyond Two Souls, but I do understand why they do. However, I would implore you to overlook that at least and really give this game a shot, and I do think there will be elements in here you will really enjoy, and I think you will understand where I'm coming from when I say that it is number 6 on my list. Number 5. Horizon Zero Dawn. On to number 5 now, and I do feel like this is a game that is more understandable in terms of why it is on this list. Horizon Zero Dawn is just one of those games that has so many different elements that will blow your mind. Enjoy interesting stories? Then there's one of the most interesting stories I have ever experienced in this game. Enjoy running around an open world and looking at uniquely designed open environments? Then this game has that all as well, in abundance in fact. Enjoy a stellar upgrade system and combat mechanics that do not even get boring after hours and hours of playing? This game has that too. Horizon Zero Dawn is simply the complete package when it comes to an open world video game, and it is a game that deserves more attention than it already even has. With the sequel to Horizon Zero Dawn coming out real soon, there isn't a better time to pick up the original and give it a shot. Number 4. Call of Duty Black Ops 3. There have been a fair amount of controversial choices on this list, but I feel like this one is the most controversial of them all. Call of Duty Black Ops 3 was one of the first games I picked up on the PS4, and I have to say, in terms of the hours of sheer enjoyment I got from a game, Call of Duty Black Ops 3 should realistically be top of the list. However, the game does have elements that pulls it back down, so I am going to only place it at number 4. Getting into competitive Call of Duty around this time was some of the most fun I've ever had on any video game. The maps and multiplayer were designed perfectly around what was an exquisite movement system. The guns were perfectly balanced, and the characters that you could play as in terms of selecting your specialists were interesting and added a unique element to the gameplay. And if multiplayer wasn't your thing, you could go over to zombies, which was one of the best fleshed out zombies modes that there has ever been in any Call of Duty game. However, stay away from the campaign, one of the worst campaigns of all time, without a shadow of a doubt. But if you can overlook a Call of Duty with a lackluster campaign, I believe Black Ops 3 is a game that you will get a lot of enjoyment out of even today, provided you can find a multiplayer lobby to play in. Number 3. The Last of Us Part 2. The Last of Us Part 2 is a horrible game, but it's brilliant. Never have I played a game before that could tell such a horrifically depressing story, but do it in such a way that keeps the player engaged in what's going on. The Last of Us Part 2 is a game I could honestly rant about all day. However, for the sake of not boring you, I'm not going to do that here. However, I highly recommend you go onto my YouTube channel and check out my hour-long critical analysis of The Last of Us Part 2. It's a video I spent a very long time working on. It's one that I am super proud of, and if you really are interested in learning more about The Last of Us Part 2 in terms of its story, then I highly recommend you go check it out. Number 2. Red Dead Redemption 2. I really feel like there's no other game like Red Dead Redemption 2 in terms of the depth of its world and its storytelling. This game reigns supreme above all others when considering what is the perfect video game. Now, while it's not number one on my list due to personal taste, there is simply no denying how extraordinary Red Dead Redemption 2 is in terms of, well, everything. The acting is unbelievable. It's one of the biggest open worlds I have ever seen. The graphics are extraordinary. The attention to detail within the world is exquisite. The cities are interesting. The characters you meet are engaging and three-dimensional. The story is thoughtful. The only complaint the player could have when going into this game is maybe that the story is just a little bit too long and especially drags as you come towards the end. But there is simply no denying the quality that this game has, and if you have not played it yet, there's no excuse that you haven't. If you love video games, you gotta pick this game up and give it a go right now. Number 1, Uncharted 4. With an honourable mention to Uncharted 2. The Uncharted series for me is probably why I am here doing what I am doing today. When I picked up the first one when I was a kid, I had no idea what I was in for in terms of its story. The game simply had me hooked, and when Uncharted 2 came around, it was arguably one of the best video games of all time, and arguably still is, which is why it gets an honourable mention on this list. However, for my number 1 choice, it felt only right to give it to Uncharted 4 as it came out at the perfect time for me as a person. Uncharted 4 tells the tale of a real grounded story of our hero who is now older having to choose between his family and his love for treasure. I'm not even going to go into too much detail here as I honestly think it is a game that is just simply worth experiencing. While I do believe you need to play the other games to get the full weight of Uncharted 4, you could go into Uncharted 4 and in itself it would be a fantastic game on its own, regardless of the other games in the series. It felt like by the end of the game that I had grown up, and this was the game series that I had grown up with, and for that I will be forever thankful. If you're somebody who hasn't played Uncharted, I highly recommend you do. It is a story you will love, a series you will not regret playing. So there we have it folks, my top 10 favourite video games of all time. Please make sure to let me know down in the comments below what you thought of this video, and I do hope you enjoyed. Also make sure to let me know down in the comments below your favourite video games of all time, and do we have any ones that are matching? I'd like to see that. I've been Zeppelin and I hope to see you back on the channel again soon. Take care, have a great day folks. Peace.